My name's Donna Denamustier and I'm 38 years old.
Tara Stout and I'm 27 years old.
My name is Simmi Dhillon and I am 38 years old.
My name is Ross Hubbs and I am, 68?
Not quite.
I suffer from attention deficit disorder as well as depression.
My husband and son and I were in a motor vehicle accident. We were hit by a drunk driver. The disorder that I suffer from is a facet joint disorder at the top of my spine where it meets with my skull.
Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, and insomnia.
I have Alzheimer's.
The symptoms from the disorder include severe headaches.
I feel a lot of pain in my abdomen from my Crohn's disease.
Some of the symptoms that I suffer from my ADHD are just an inability to focus.
The forgetting things, not being able to remember day of the week.
That kind of stuff, yeah.
I have been using medical marijuana for about a year.
I've been using medicinal marijuana for almost 2 years.
I've been using it for 4 years.
About 4 years.
4? Yeah, and be in the ballpark, yeah.
I started using marijuana as a medicine when I started having some problems from the medication that I was on for my ADHD. I started to get tremors and really bad problems with my stomach.
The pharmaceutical drugs initially did curb some of my symptoms. Unfortunately, it was more of a mask. It got to the point where about 2 years ago, I was on topramate, so I wouldn't have seizures. I was on my antidepressant. I was on Oxycontin whenever I needed it, and I was on Nabilone, which is a synthetic marijuana. When I was using pharmaceutical drugs, I felt horrific. I didn't feel human. It ruined my life.
They make me feel like I'm dead inside. I don't feel alive. I feel like I'm a zombie.
Marijuana makes me feel more stable. It makes me feel, it's like a natural mood elevator. It makes me have a sense of well-being. Relaxed.
I feel less anxious. I feel less pain.
Less frustrated.
Okay.
He used to be frustrated with the simple things like just tying your shoes.
Makes me feel human. Makes me feel like a good mom, a good wife, a good daughter, a good sister, a good friend. It's given me my life back.
I did some research on the internet as to alternative methods of treatment for ADHD, and Health Canada's medical marijuana site came up. So the next time I saw my doctor, I asked my doctor about marijuana as an alternative form of treatment.
I was actually introduced to medical marijuana from a couple that moved into my apartment building, and they were medical marijuana users, and we bonded over our own disabilities.
And I remember coming home and telling my husband, who's a police officer, that I had smoked, well, by the end of the night I had smoked, probably half a joint, but telling him about it, and I remember him looking at me and kind of saying, you know what, if this gets my wife back, then I think you should talk to your doctor about it.
I did use marijuana as a teenager.
Like, I tried it once or twice when I was in high school, and I just didn't really see what the point was.
I thought losers smoked pot.
The process to get licensed for medical marijuana is a long and arduous process.
In order to get a license to smoke marijuana, the process that I had to go through was go through my GP. The process still took a good 9 months. And since then, it seems to get worse. They require that for a renewal to come through, they need 8 weeks. I provided them with 4 months, and they're still behind.
And I resent the fact that we have to do it once a year for something that is never going to heal.
Now, 15 months later, since I first spoke to my doctor about trying medical marijuana, my license is in process.
So on top of everything else that I have to deal with, I now have to deal with the fact that until my license is in my hands, I'm doing this illegally, even though it's my medicine.
Even agrees to sign, then your doctor has to refer you to a specialist, and it can take 6 to 8 months just to see the specialist. It is not an easy process to get licensed. It takes a lot of advocating on the part of you as the patient.
I think Health Canada's on the right track, but what Health Canada needs to do is have medicinal marijuana available at a local level. Legally, I can access marijuana through the government, which you put in a request online or through the mail. You are required to buy a month's worth of product at a time, and they only have one strain. So this puts great financial strain on people. It puts added pressure on people because the one strain they have does not work. Especially for me, I've tried it. Look at that. It's like sawdust. This is how we get it from the dispensary. That's how I should get it.
I believe that Health Canada has to address the shortcomings in their program. I think Health Canada could improve by working in collaboration with Compassion Clubs.
The Compassion Club is a facility where people with medical necessity can acquire medicinal marijuana in a safe, secure environment. To get your license to operate a Compassion Club is really the whole trick here. There is no way that you can get a license. What I have is my designation through Health Canada to supply to members. Okay, the requirement to gain membership to our dispensary here is they have to meet, first off, a certain criteria that Health Canada has already laid out. Added to that, what we do is we supply forms that they take to their physician so that their physician is also part of the process.
I absolutely think Health Canada should beef up their medicinal marijuana program.
Most definitely, the Health Canada is not meeting its mandate, and there is a real necessity for Compassion Clubs at this point.
Having to go out of my way to find sources to get my medicine is depressing. It can be humiliating. I've felt like I'm a criminal.
Stigma around using marijuana and having access to my marijuana has been one of the hardest things to deal with.
The politicians, the spin, there's a lot of negative talk that, you know, it's just a bunch of stoners wanting to be able to use.
And I shouldn't feel that way. I'm a disabled person. I shouldn't have to be put in this situation to feel like I'm less than.
I've always been a person that fears judgment. I'm sure just like everybody else. And everything that I've had to go through just kind of puts everything I have believed my entire life in front of my face. And it's forcing me to make decisions every day on something I never thought I would have to. For those people who frown upon medicinal marijuana, I'd probably, if I could say, get your head out of your ass. I mean, I was there for a long time. Ignorance is very, very easy.
It's not the individual so much, it's the governments. It's the healthcare system that you would have to try to get through to.
What I'd like to say to lawmakers and to the politicians and to local police enforcement is that it is just terrible, the fact that some of the most marginalized people, some of the sickest Canadians are having to jump through so many hoops to get access to the medicine that works for them.
I'm a voter, and I believe in voting, and I'm not gonna vote for someone who is against my rights with my body.
Public can do a lot to support our cause. I always say that, you know, it's not the people that are using the medication necessarily that have the biggest fight ahead of them. It is the people that will be in the future wanting access to this medication as the population gets older.
As what we've done here with this dispensary is we work in the community. This is a community-based dispensary, as most are. The work that you do in your community, talking to your neighbors, ensuring that if there is an opportunity to write a letter or send an email at the appropriate time. The civic election is coming up. These are great places to really work. Put pressure on your politicians. They're not just simply politicians. These are employees of you. You've hired them to represent your wishes, to do as you feel ought to be done. Remind them of it regularly.